I gave myself the powers of Superman, using nothing but command blocks. Heat vision that scorches Earth. Breath cold enough to freeze mobs and turn lava to stone. And yes, I can fly. No mods, no add-ons, just Bedrock commands. Let me show you how I did it. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to go into your creative menu, we're going to go to the buttons, we're going to get a mangrove button, we're going to get a pale oak button, and we're going to grab a warped button. These are what I used for the special ability, so if you just want to copy the commands that I'm doing, go ahead and grab those. If you change what buttons you're using, make sure you change the commands to work with those items. The next thing we're going to need is we're going to need an anvil, and then we're going to rename the buttons. The mangrove button should be renamed to be heat vision. The pale oak button should be renamed to be ice breath. And the warped button should be renamed to be flight. So you have heat vision, ice breath, flight. So now we're going to save these individually into a structure block, starting with heat vision. So go ahead and drop that down right on top of the structure block. And then you're going to click inside. The settings should be 1 for all 3 of the sizes instead of 5. And then the -1 here that it starts off with, change that over to a +1. The bounding area should be above the structure block, like so. So now we have that item on the inside. Let's go ahead and we're going to save this one as heat. Go ahead and click save. Alright, the pale oak button that is named ice breath, go ahead and save that inside the structure block and erase heat, and we're going to save this one as ice. And then lastly, we're going to do the same thing with flight. There. Go ahead and name that one flight. Alright, we have the 3 ability items saved. The first thing we're going to need is we're going to need a command block. So /give @s command_block into the chat, and that will give you a command block. Go ahead and place that down. The first one we're going to do is going to be repeating always active. There's going to be no delay, and we're going to execute as the player that has the super tag. So @a tag equals super. Also, we're doing has item, item equals mangrove button, quantity equals 0. So if you don't have a mangrove button, it's then going to run structure load heat at your location because we're doing at s here. I have that set as ~1~, and that's so it loads in at the place where your head is. It's faster to pick the item up that way. And then here, chained to that, I have chain unconditional, always active, so this is not dependent on the first one running. Doing the exact same thing, we're going to execute as the player with the super tag. This time we're checking to see if they have no pale oak button. If they don't, at their location, we're going to run structure load ice. And that's going to be at ~1~, so again, where your head is. This is going to give you your ice breath power. And then the last one, chain, again, unconditional, always active. Same thing, executing as Superman if he doesn't have a warped button. If he doesn't, we're going to structure load flight. So that is the system that will replace these abilities as you use them or give them to you in the beginning when you become Superman. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get the easy stuff out of the way first. So I have a repeating always active command block over here, and I'm going to do effects, again just targeting Superman, and I'm going to give strength 5. This one here, chain unconditional always active, we're going to give resistance 5. Same setup, health boost 9, gives you extra hearts so they have more life. This one here, saturation 1-1. This just makes sure that your appetite stays full so that your regeneration will work properly. And then same setup, we're going to give you regeneration 3. Then this one here, speed 4. And then the last one here, jump boost 2. So these are all just simple effect commands that will boost your player's strength, speed, health, regeneration, defense, make you feel like you're actually Superman. And you'll notice that everything we're doing is controlled with a tag called super. So in order to become Superman, you would just do tag @s add super. Oop, make sure we do it right. All right, the next thing we're going to dig into is going to be heat vision. But first, did you know I have a waitlist for updates on a new workshop that I'm designing called Level Up with command blocks? I'm working on downloadable worksheets that you can print or use on your phone or computer. These worksheets will not just guide you, but teach you commands so that you can learn to make creations like me. Click the link in the pinned comment and description below. Alright, so this is going to start the heat vision. I have a repeating always active command block here. This has got a 3-tick delay, but it is executing on the first tick. I'm going to execute as, again, the player with the Superman tag, tag equals super. And again, we're doing a has item. We're looking for a mangrove button. This time, location, slot.weapon.main hand. So this is looking to check to see if you're actually holding that item. And if you are, we're going to run summon armor stand vision. And these are carrots. So this is based on our local coordinates, but also based on our camera angle. So this is going to be spawning in behind us. And then chain unconditional always active. We're going to execute as. That's going to be the armor stand right there. That armor stand, we named it vision. So we're going to be executing as it, add it, but we're going to rotate as ourselves. And we're going to run teleport the armor stand, and we're going to teleport it forward, facing forward. So that's going to be based on our camera angle. So that's what actually shoots the laser forward, is going to be this armor stand. Except for it's not just one. If we look back up here, this is a repeating command block. So every 3 game ticks, if you're holding that item, it's going to fire off another armor stand. And then here, repeating, always active, we're going to run effects for the armor stand, and we're going to give it invisibility, infinite, 1 true. So this will make the armor stand invisible. And then I've got chain unconditional. We're going to execute again as the armor stand, named vision. We're going to run particle. Minecraft Obsidian Glow Dust particle. This is a red particle, kind of energy looking. It's got that kind of Minecraft dust thing where the edges are always moving around. And we're going to do caret, -0.2, caret 1.5, caret. So this is going to be the energy coming from your left eye. This one here, same exact setup. Same exact command, except for not -0.2, but +0.2. And this is going to be the energy coming from your right eye. We're doing 2 distinct beams here to match up with Superman's vision. And then once we get over here, you got another repeating, always active command block. No delay. We're going to execute at Superman, and we're going to run kill. Any armor stand named vision that gets more than 80 blocks away is going to be killed. That's just cleaning them up, making sure they're not just out there forever. And then I got an unconditional chain block here. We're going to execute as Superman if he has the item, mangrove button. Again, the location is slot.weapon.main hand. But this time, quantity equals 0. So if you're not holding it anymore, it's going to run kill, and it's going to kill any armor stands named vision. So when you're holding the button in your hand, your laser vision will start. It'll continue running the entire time. If they get too far away, they'll die, and if you switch away to a different item, it will also stop your laser vision then. Now for the damage. So I have a repeating always active command block, and I'm going to do effects at E name equals vision, fire resistance, infinite, 100 true. Since I'm going to be using some fire here, I want to make sure that the armor stand is not dying. They do die very fast with fire, so that just protects them. Unconditional chain command block. We're going to execute at the armor stand as long as it's more than 20 blocks away from here. We're going to run fill. Caret 0.5, caret 1, caret. Caret -0.5, caret 1, caret -2, fire, destroy. This should do about a 1 block wide area near the top of the armor stand where the lasers are. And it should kind of tunnel through blocks, dirt, stone, wood, leaves, whatever the laser vision hits, it should burn through the material. It'll destroy the block and replace it with fire. And then chain unconditional always active. We're going to execute as vision. We're going to execute at vision. We're going to run damage. Any entity within 2 blocks that's not you, that means not the super tag, that's name is not vision, so not the armor stand, not any XP orbs, we like to pick those up. We're going to do 10 damage, and that's every 3 game ticks. It's going to be an entity attack, It's going to be coming from you. So if you're hitting somebody with it, they're going to know you're shooting them. All right, and then the last block for the heat vision is going to be the sound, repeating, always active. We're going to execute as Superman if the mangrove button is in your main hand, so if you're holding it, at your location, and we're going to run play sound. Mob.guardian.attack loop to any player nearby, tilde, 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 1, 3. The 3 here is we're changing the pitch up. I'm taking their normal buzzy kind of laser sound and making it more of a laser sound. So it's really cool, and that's through adjusting the pitch here on the last one. And that is the heat vision. It's actually really crazy powerful. You can tear through an iron golem with 100 hearts in literally about 5 seconds. All right, next up we have the ice breath. This one is repeating, always active here for the first command block. Not executing on the first tick with a 4-tick delay. We're going to execute as Superman at the location of Superman. We're going to kill the item named Ice Breath within a range of 2. That's the button. This one, instead of holding it, we're going to drop it to activate. All right, the next one we have here, chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute at Superman, run particle, Minecraft explosion particle. And it's going to do caret 1.5, caret 1. And that's going to be out in front of you about eye level. And this is going to be a little puff of breath. We're going to do several of these. This is the first one. So this is 1 block in front of you. And then here, chained conditional, always active. Same thing, except for instead of 1 block in front of you, it's now 3 blocks in front of you. And then here, exact same setup. We're doing the same commands, this time 5 blocks in front of you. And then change to that, chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute at Superman's location, and we're going to run play sound. I'm doing mob.evocation-illager.cast spell. This is a kind of frosty sounding breath sound that they do when they're casting their spells. And I'm doing at A, R equals 20, so anybody within 20 blocks of there. And just a normal volume and pitch for that. All right, and then we have a chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute as Superman at S, so at its location as I'm positioned, caret 5. So this is out in front. We're going to run tag. Any entity within a range of 4 that's not Superman, that's not an item, that's not an XP orb, we're going to add the frozen tag. Chains to that. It's a conditional. We're going to execute at any entity tagged frozen, so those will be all the ones we just tagged. And we're going to run fill, tilde 1, tilde 1, tilde 1, tilde negative 1, tilde negative 1, tilde negative 1, ice. Replace air. So this creates a square of ice around the position of the entities. And then chain conditional, always active. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that frozen tag from anybody that has it. That way you can use this multiple times if needed. But now is the environmental stuff. So repeating, always active. We're going to execute at Superman. I'm sorry, as Superman at Superman. If the entity name equals Ice Breath. So once that button is actually in the world before it's killed, it's going to position the command again 5 blocks out in front, and we're going to fill tilde 2, tilde 2, tilde 2, tilde negative 2, tilde negative 2, tilde negative 2, ice, replace water. So any water out in that general area in front of you gets frozen into ice. Got the same command here in an unconditional command block, except for instead of doing ice into water, we're doing lava into obsidian. Obsidian is what you get when you cool lava rapidly. So using the ice breath makes sense that it would become obsidian. And then this one here, again, unconditional, pretty much the same exact commands. This time though, any fire gets replaced by air so you can blow out fires. And that is the ice breath. And the last one we're going to do today is going to be our flight. Drop down here. We have a repeating command block here, always active. 5-tick delay, not executing on the first tick. We're going to execute as Superman if the warped button is in that main hand, so if you're holding it, and then we're going to tag ourselves with flight. Then I have a repeating command block here, always active, again, 5-tick delay, not executing on the first tick. Executing as Superman if the warped button is not in your main hand, we're going to remove that tag flight. So just by holding it in your hand, you'll have the tag. If you remove it, the tag goes away. That's how we're going to control this ability. And then we're going to dig in here Repeating, unconditional, always active. We're going to execute as the player with the super tag. Make sure that they don't have the tag flight. So this is only going to run once. Once you get the flight tag, which is why we have it delayed, this will not have to run again. We're checking to see if you have the warped button in your main hand, and we're going to run play animation. Now these animation commands are fairly complicated, but I'll do my best to try and go through this with you. So at ourselves, we're going to do a basic standard humanoid base pose with a transition time of about half a second. We're not executing any specific lines from a controller animator, an animation controller, which is what we use when we're making resource and behavior packs. Animation controllers dictate how entities can move, what they can do, when animations run, stuff like that. So we're not using any of that, and that's going to be on A. There's not a lot of information pertaining to this. I've seen this defined as a layering system so that you can have multiple animations running at the same time, which seems to be how it works from my testing. I was playing with a few of these, and that does seem to be what it is. So this would be on layer A. And again, that's a half-second transition time there. And what we're going to do, chain conditional, always active. Same thing, executing as the Superman, not with the flight, and making sure they're holding the warped button in their main hand. This animation, though, is going to be animation player swim. We're not doing a transition. We're not going into another animation after this. This is going to be what we're holding at. We're going to put a 1 here, and that's going to make us horizontal. And then the V swim amount should be 1. And again, that's going to be layer A. That's going to be our main body animation. The next one here, chain conditional, always active. Same command. This time, we're going to mimic the armor stand animation for the brandish pose, which is when you're holding one hand above your head. I tried to get the Statue of Liberty pose to work with this, but that seems to override the laying down of the swim while still keeping the hand motions of the swim, so it doesn't work out that well. This is the closest I could do to having one fist out in front like Superman, and it's going to be an armor stand animation, brandish pose. Not going to have a transfer, 0, 0, and that's going to be secondary, so put that on B. And then the last one we're doing here, chain conditional, always active. Same command, but this time we're doing the animation for player. Look at target.ui. This means that your head is still going to turn and face towards the direction you're facing, regardless of the direction your body is. So you're not going to face awkwardly down or have it weirdly stuck off in a specific direction. It'll continue facing screen forward. And that's going to be none, 0, 0, C. So this puts you into the flight animation. And then these ones over here, repeating, always active. We're checking to see if you no longer have that warped button in your main hand for Superman. And this is going to reset all the different layers. So we're doing layer A back to the player attack positions. This one here, we're going to do for layer B. This one here is going to be for layer C. And then layer D as well. I don't know why I have to reset layer D. I only got up to layer C when activating these animations, but unless I also reset layer D here, they don't work. You get stuck with your arms, kind of like, I think it was like the armor stand positioning, unless you do that properly. And so you have to reset all the way A through D here. And again, I'm not sure why, without using D, why we have to, but I found that that's the only way to get that to work. Again, the animation commands are just a little complicated. So now we have the animation set. Let's get the flight. Repeating, always active. We're testing to see if somebody has the super tag. And then if you do, it's going to push this forward. We're going to run this impulse command block here. It's going to give you the ability to fly. And then this one here, chain conditional, always active. It's going to initially give you regeneration 10 for 10 seconds. Since you get a big health increase with health boost, those hearts are going to be empty unless you run a higher regeneration to fill them. For some reason, you don't get those filled, you get them empty. And then when you get rid of the tag, that will retract back, and that will then take away your ability to fly. So with the way that flight is set up, you can take off with your flight and then switch over to your flight animation before you begin your horizontal flight. And then when you want to come to a stop, Simply stop and switch away at the same time, and you get a pretty smooth animation between the two. If you enjoy being powerful, you may also enjoy playing as Darth Vader. Learn to harness the Force and twist it to do your bidding. I also have a second video on his lightsaber throw ability. This is Browncoat67. I'll catch you next time.